And we're live. We're back. Welcome, everybody, to the Roll the Bones podcast. Finally, we are joined by our little big sister, Chloe Roma, 1/3 of the holy trinity of advocates that makes up Roma's Army, JD Delay, and Jason Vukovich. I'm so happy to have you with us.
I'm so happy to be here. Your intro is sick. I was over here like jamming.
Thanks. It kind of I realized that it kind of reminds me. Doesn't it kind of sound like the old Jerry Springer intro music?
A little bit.
Is that what it was like? Well, regardless.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you here. You're somebody that I've wanted to sit with for a long time, and I'm glad Jason was able to bring us together. He's always bringing motherfuckers together. He's always taking care of everybody. But firstly, before we get into it, I'm joined by Father Trev. From the wood chipper tribe. And I want to give you a sincere thank you to everybody in Roma's Army, Chloe and Brother JD and the wood chipper tribe, for everybody coming together, and everyone in the One Life family. They came together just a few weeks ago to get rid of Jason Vukovich's restitution. It's a major milestone, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So here we are.
Yeah. Less than 24 hours. That shit was smoked.
That was insane. That was crazy.
Yeah, and also I want to give a thanks to everybody that showed up to make that video possible for Jason. It's one thing when you hear the comments, you read the comments, say I show support. It's another thing to hear the words, and he needed to hear that.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Jay, I didn't mean to send it before a live. We came under the wire on that one, but
he got a little emotional, but
a little bit,
yeah.
But no, I love you, buddy, and but no, I'm serious. Like, I'm really happy you're here.
I'm so excited.
I'm never good at how to break in. So, how did this begin for you? Becoming the arguably the most polarizing advocate of all time. But you do straighten things out and handle it and help so many people.
Thank you. How did it start? I mean, that's kind of a tricky question because I think in my mind, it probably started way back in childhood, like just that aspect of starting to see the male perspective of things versus what's said online. But where it physically started online was I saw this girl, she must have been 17 or something, in her high school bathroom making a video saying kill all men. And that was a really big thing in 2019. The hashtag was trending on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And I didn't grow up with social media. I got social media for the first time, apart from Facebook, when I was 19, 20, I believe. So to not hear any of this, I hate all men rhetoric, to come online and realize that it's a plague in the world was quite shocking to me. So I just kind of used my brain and was like, isn't this wrong pertaining to the girl in the bathroom? I'm like, why would you say that? Men are whole human beings. So if someone said this about a woman, it would be atrocious. And it just kind of, took off from there. And I had no idea that there was nobody on social media talking about these kinds of things and really challenging the social structure of how we see men. So it just kind of took off, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah, it's I think, in my opinion, you're the first one that's ever brought light to it.
Yeah.
The issues that men face. And I know there's been a lot of ones that follow. I won't use their names. I don't really agree with them. I know you have your opinions on them as well, but but no, you're the first time that you're also really relatable. I think that's the thing. It's like you see, a tattooed chick that comes out, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, I can listen to what she has to say. And then you were the first one. You were literally the first one that said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of amazing advocates that have followed. You have Lady J, Emily King, the Dadvocate, even up and comers like Latrice and Haidumi that are working really hard. So it's been really cool to see a contrast between what advocating for men was like for the first 3 years of my career versus these last 3. I've almost been doing it for 6 years now. And, when I first started, it was literal hell, like women were like really made it their life mission to come after me. I got doxxed. They were, making false allegations to social services. So much, like vandalizing my house, my car, giving step-by-step video instructions on how to get to my house on Reddit and TikTok. It was so fucked up. Pardon my language, but like what I went through. But I feel like I had to kind of like crawl through that mud to get to the point now where there are people that feel comfortable advocating for men. And, there's a different branch of these women that have come out of it. And I think they see that, like, Lady J, myself, Emily King, the Dadvocate, that we make money doing this. And so they've made it their like mission to start advocating for men just to like get that money, which is fucked up. So they'll, there's one, I'll name her, I don't care. Her name is Helena King, or Helena, however you pronounce it. And she spent the last year doing like hardcore men's rights advocacy. And at one point I even stuck up for her and I was like, yeah, this is another name that we should add. And then 3 months ago, she started releasing like softcore porn on her fucking social media. I'm like, girl, why? Like, tell me you only did it for money. Like, you're not advocating for men, you're advocating for their wallets. So there's been an upside and a downside, but I guess the bigger upside is that more women and men seem to feel much more comfortable these last 3 years opening up about men's rights, their experiences, and they're not receiving the same kind of backlash that I received. So I'm very grateful for that because I'm pretty tough. So I'm like, shit, I'll take it as long as we can make a difference,
So do you consider yourself like one of the main pioneers in men's mental health advocacy?
Yes, I was definitely the first one on social media, with the exception of Karen. I can't pronounce her last name, but there's a woman named Karen Straugan or something. And she really, she was doing like YouTube videos, kind of talking about like men's mental health and stuff. So she was technically kind of the first person. But when it came to reaction videos, making it a mainstream thing, becoming a well-known name, I was definitely the first person to do that, which is super, super cool because I feel like I've effectively, changed the world at such a young age. And I just take that so, so humbly and so graciously. But yeah, it's definitely not something, I don't have like an ego about it. I'm not like, I'm the first, so I get to police everything. But I do feel like I know what I'm talking about. That's why I go after some of these women so hard who I know aren't doing it genuinely. Because, I made that mistake as well. Like, to be super transparent, when I was 21, I started doing like not safe for work, not OnlyFans, not like straight up porn, but just not safe for work. And I think people think that I did that to take advantage of my audience, but I actually started it before I even had an audience. And once I had an audience, I wasn't promoting it. I was very ashamed about it, but I was in a really tough place. I was single parenting a daughter who was 2 at the time. I was in school getting 2 post-secondary educations at once. And because I grew up in social services, they pay for 4 years of education. So I was trying to squeeze in 2 degrees. And then halfway through that, the government of Canada just decided, no, we don't want to fund these kids anymore. So my funding got taken away. So I'm like, I have to complete school. I have to feed my kid. I was so poor, like literally rationing pierogies. And there were days I wasn't eating because like my daughter was eating first. So it to me at the time, it felt like it was something that I had to do. And so I think that people maybe think that I just did it because, I had access to all these men, but that really wasn't the case. And I feel a whole lot of shame around it and just realizing the damage that it caused. But yeah, I mean, to be fully transparent, so there's nobody in the chat that's like, wait, but didn't you used to do that? I did. So I feel like I have a good grounding to talk from it, right? Like, you don't go to addicts who become counselors and be like, well, you can't tell people not to smoke crack because you smoked meth. Like, I'm the perfect person to be like, hey, this is wrong, you know?
But
So
I mean, I
with
feel like,
go
not
ahead,
to cut
Chris.
you off, Trev.
No, go ahead. You're good.
There's a tremendous amount. I know you say you don't have an ego behind it, which is great. I mean, but there is still, being a trailblazer of something, there's still a great responsibility to ensure that it's being held together, and
Yeah.
and to keep all the, I mean, there's a lot of great advocates that are coming out of the woodwork due to the work
Yeah.
that you put in, that JD's put in, that Jason's done. But there's still it has to be a great amount of responsibility to ensure that nobody belittles the ground that's already been taken. You know what I mean? In this fight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we're, you know, as advocates, I can speak for myself and Emily and Lauren and you know, Lady J, that we do feel a great sense of responsibility, but we also don't, we're not the end all be all. We're not the, you know, the what's that word? The committee of men's rights, where we get to pick and say, you know, who comes in and who doesn't. You know, the more voices the better, but definitely it is our responsibility to call out people that we feel aren't genuine, that have hidden agendas, and we have a responsibility to the men who trust us to keep that transparency. So it's a bit of it's a bit of pressure sometimes, but like, I'm so honored. Like, it's just so great. I've always wanted to help. And, you know, even when I was on the streets, I was very kind of like motherly to the other kids around me. And so it's nice that I got to grow up and, you know, kind of be like the mother of the men's rights movement and take care of people. It just means so much to me. I'm so humble.
You know, I know I forgot to do it in the beginning. I do want to show absolute love to all the mods that showed up tonight.
Absolutely.
They're Cass, Red, Michelle, Amy. They're, you know, my extended One Life family. You know, we have an unbreakable bond with all of us. And I just noticed that the High Chieftain of the Wood Chipper tribe, JD Delay, is in the chat. Much love, brother. I appreciate you and everything that you do. And I see a lot of the Wood Chipper tribe represented here. But I know, Trevor, I know you had something else you wanted to add to it. I cut you off like a dick, but
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely already forgot that question. I definitely have another one. I definitely have another one. So, Chloe, I as well. I mean, my situation. Everybody's situation is going to be different, right? But I was adopted. You know, I had the, I guess you could say, fortunate. I wouldn't put it that way, but I had the fortunate circumstance of knowing my adoptive family and like growing up kind of around them. But I do want to say I really hope that you realize that more so than like on top of mental health advocacy, like, you know, speaking as somebody who has gone through the system and was adopted, you know, and went through all that, like, people don't understand. That's a whole nother can of worms that like people have no idea. Like, it leaves you growing up with an identity crisis. It leaves you growing up not knowing anything. And I want to congratulate you for, you know, going to your home country and getting to meet your family. Like,
Thank
that was
you.
an awesome experience to watch. I wanted to know if you had anything that you would like to speak about, just, you know, touch on with that, because for me personally, you know, like I said, like, that's something I grew up in the middle of. And you know, seeing somebody else who's gone through the same type of shit but on like a bigger level, seeing you go through that was something that like really made me happy and was like, fuck yeah, that's what it's about.
Thank
And
you.
it was a great experience to watch. So I wanted to see if, you know, you maybe wanted to touch on like how that kind of affected your whole perspective on things now that you're an adult and now that you've, you know, gone through everything you've gone through, and see, you know, kind of where you're at now with all that.
Yeah, well, It's been a very long journey. Like anybody that's been adopted knows firsthand that it does leave you with not only an identity crisis, but like an overwhelming sense of individuality in this world. And, the people that adopted me, obviously, it was not a good situation. The mother was incredibly mentally ill, extremely abusive. Like I went through some really harsh abuse as a child and neglect. And, she would say a whole lot of really hateful things, told me a bunch of lies about my birth mom. And that really affected my identity. And I think led to so much self hatred in my life. Like the reason why I self harmed, the reason why, my suicide attempts happened and things like that. So getting to go to Romania and meet my birth mom, meet my birth sister, it was really cool, but it was also very overwhelming because right in front of me, I was being challenged with these beliefs that I kind of had my whole life about who I was, specifically, like, just being abandoned. Like my mom just abandoned me and didn't want me. That's what I was always told. So that led to a lot of feelings and lack of self-worth. Like I'm not worthy. I'm not lovable. I'm not. So getting to meet her and actually hearing from her that giving me up was one of her biggest regrets and explaining to me how it happened. Oh my God, dude, it just healed me. It was like, it just made me realize that I've been like punishing myself my whole life and I didn't have to. So I definitely came home to Canada a completely different person. I had a whole different outlook on myself and just kind of decided that the pain that I had been carrying, the abandonment all throughout my life, that it was just time to let it go. But on the other side of that, I do feel like I got my answers and I don't have a profound need to continue that connection. Like I don't want to meet my mom again. I don't want to have that connection just in case all the healing I've done gets erased. Like what if she says something to me one day like, like, oh, I wish you didn't come back or something. That could like erase all the good I'm feeling now. So, to people who have been adopted and want to find their families, I super, super encourage that. But also keep in mind that it's going to be very confusing. It can be conflicting. When I first found my birth family in 2021, my mom didn't want anything to do with me. I didn't even know that she wanted to meet me until I was already in Romania and she changed her mind and wanted to meet me. So, if you have a good family and a family that has like sustained you and held you down as your adopted family, really just make sure you do the work with yourself where it's like, do I need this other family or am I happy with where I am now? Because for me, it was kind of like, it's cool to meet these people, but I have my family here, like my second adopted family. So it was a journey, but I would encourage people to go through it, and it's going to be hard, but keep your supports around you because it can heal a whole lifetime of hurt and worthlessness.
Was it like like almost like when you came back, was it you just had like a lighter feeling inside yourself, like kind of unanchored?
Yeah. I always, when I was a teenager in like, social services and group homes and residential treatment facilities, I always remembered explaining to my therapists and clinicians that I always felt like there was a hole in my chest. And they used to describe that as like depression. But for me, it was something deeper. It was like something was missing. And so when I had that connection and it was a positive one, 1,000%, it was like a lifetime of hurt and abandonment was just lifted off of me. And it almost gave me the validation for who I am as a person. Like, I don't need to hate myself because even though I didn't end up with these people, they missed me and they loved me. Like, I had people who loved me this whole time. And that blows my mind. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think that most people don't, unless they've lived their life like that, they don't understand. And it's a very, it can cause identity crisis. It can cause, mental health issues growing up. Like you know, it can cause a whole lot of shit. And you know, 9 times out of 10, probably, I mean, who knows the true statistic there, but like, is it really worth doing all that? Is it really worth meeting, you know, it sounds like you were kind of in a position to where either way you were going to grow up in a kind of a fucked up childhood. You know what I mean? And I can't say like 100% I was in the same box, but like definitely, like, I don't know how much better it would have been either way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's, you know, whichever is the lesser of two evils. But I really do appreciate you sharing that, because I definitely, you know, my wife follows you, I follow you. Like, we were both very, you know, we watched your journey through all that, and it was something that, you know, I do want to say, like, you having the respect to keep your biological sister off of camera is a huge thing. People don't understand it. Me and my biological little brother are best friends. Like, that is my motherfucker. Like, that's my boy. But at the same time, you know, every family's different, and especially when you're in a whole different country, like, it's a way different story.
Different.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
It's a lot to cover. I mean, you're meeting somebody you've never met before
and we don't speak the same language.
Right. The cultural differences, the you know, North America, like Canada and the United States have a lot of the same social customs. So then when you go like foreigner, like you know, the European countries, they're pretty brutal, man, and very direct. And that's just the way, that's just how they are. And they don't mean anything by it. It's just how it is, you know. But there was a lot of elements that I can imagine were really intimidating taking that, you know, that journey over there. It's a lot of unknowns. It's a lot of unknowns.
I think we need to do, especially Romania, because, you know, there was a dictator in the 90s. His name was Ceausescu, and he was an awful man. And, you know, he banned birth control, used propaganda, I don't know that word, to encourage women to like have all these babies and just give it to the government and we'll take care of them. But their version of taking care of them was shoving them in an orphanage where they were sick. There was like no food. It was awful environment. So in the late 90s, the West, I think it was America, an American journalist went in and essentially stormed these orphanages with a video camera and showed the whole West what kind of conditions we were all living in. And so that prompted mass adoption out of Romania. So you have like thousands upon thousands of what we would call displaced children all around the world. And when you look at how high adoption rates are from other countries, yes, they're good, but there's another impact that only the adopted children feel. And I think the system doesn't do a good enough job keeping adoptees connected. And I feel like had I had some sort of, you know, government program or just something that connected me with other people that were like me, I wouldn't have gone to the streets because, you know, I replaced and almost surrogated that family that I didn't have with like a street family. And granted, still to this day, the ones that are still alive, we're all still very close. Like we really were a family and kind of raised each other. But I think it's a huge risk, especially for adopted kids and adopted kids that aren't adopted into good homes. So many of us end up going into like gangs or addiction or something just to find that connection. And if the government could mediate that, that probably wouldn't happen as much, you know?
For sure. It's a crazy thing to see just how similar the US and Canada. I mean, so granted, with those two, we could say like all of America's, for example, is the same way. Like it was the same way for me growing up. I mean, we did have a little bit more, you know, at least the family I was adopted into had a little more resources with putting you in place with other, you know, kids in your age range going through the same shit. But like, I can very much relate to, you know, a lot of them are dead. A lot of them are in prison. I did a good little stretch myself. I was an addict myself. You know, it's a very real thing, and it seems that replacing the natural home, or the biological home, I guess you could say, with a street family, or with people that aren't biologically your family because you don't have that connection, it's a really real thing. And you know, it's just it trips me personally up, because, like, you know, I know a lot of people don't understand that, and that bond I have with a lot of people that aren't biologically my brother or sister. It's like, yeah, I call Chris my brother, right? Like, that's my best friends. But at the same time, it's like it's very much different when you grow up not having a sense of blood, not having a sense of family.
Yeah, but the only thing that's complicated in that is, now I wasn't put up for adoption, but I spent most of my life feeling like I had nobody. You know, I got,
sure. There's similarities throughout.
You know, I'd go to one place, I'd be, you know, just psychologically abused. I come home, I'd be physically abused. And then what happens is I manifested my own hatred. Like, I just hated the world. Like, and I did things beyond that to hurt other people, just because it filled that. You think you're filling that void. You're not. Like, you're just taking it out, because when you're a young kid, you're abuser. You don't have that strength yet to fight back. So you take it out on anything and everything else. And I found my family in a lot of dark areas, and I see this all the time, and it's a common trend with a lot of guys. Like, I've talked to you know, with, you know, guys in the mafia, guys in motorcycle clubs. One of the guys I knew was a 1%er. Like, he was, you know, sexually abused most of his life, and then you just fall into it. And there's a lot of micro factors that draw people in, but when you feel like you have nothing, criminal organizations, a lot of times, some of them, they'll groom you in, because they know that you're young, you'll connect with them. And then like, for me, I loved getting that attention from somebody that I viewed as like, wow, this guy's a father figure. He's looking out for me. Like, you know, oh, you need clothes? No problem. You need, you know, a couple extra bucks in your pocket? No problem.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the same as prison gangs, man. Like, to be honest, like,
hey, gangs are gangs, homie. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, you know. And I see, like, well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go
ahead.
Okay. It's sad though, because there's so much widespread despair in our part of the world. You know, cost of living is ridiculously high. People are just trying to get through. I feel like these fucking child predators are worse than they've ever have been, or maybe they're just more in your face, or they're getting bolder at least.
It's the fucking internet, bro, is what it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, understand, like, I know there's fucking creeps that are watching us. Like, you know, like, understand this, that, you know, we are coming for you. Like, we see you, you know, and we'll always maintain our boot on your throat as long as we're, you know, I am alive. As long as I know all of us in this family, the One Light, the tribe, the Roma's Army, you're never gonna be able to hide. We'll catch up with you at some point. But people commit crime out of so many different things. Sometimes they're just trying to survive, you know, and trying to get through the day. And
that's what it very much was, for me, especially, you know, being in a position, you know, because the majority of people that end up in positions where, you know, they're on the streets, they're, you know, maybe connected with like gangs or bikers or things like that, they're most often men. And so being a woman in that lifestyle, I can really agree with what you're saying, where it's like, when you've been victimized as a child, it almost prompts you to like make sure that never happens to again. So when, you know, I turned, you know, 14, 15, 16 on up, it was very important to me to solidify myself as somebody that nobody was going to fuck with. And as a woman, I already have that card against me because there's not a whole lot of women. A lot of women, especially attractive young women, just ended up getting pimped out, not taking seriously. You know, the boys would go out and do a mission and you'd be the one that had to stay home and stay back. And that was never something that I ever wanted to do. So, you know, I had to work really hard and got pushed into certain things in order to solidify myself and get that respect, which, you know, I did. And a big part of that was, you know, how I dressed, how I talked, not wearing makeup, don't wear shorts, don't wear yoga pants. It's always jeans, sweatpants, cargos, Timberlands, knife in your pocket, leather jacket. Like
Ready to
these were
get
all
down.
things
Yeah.
that I had to do to put myself in that position. And it worked and it was cool. And I have a lot of great experiences. I never got pimped out. I got to work alongside bikers who, you know, notoriously just don't really hire women to do jobs, don't have women around them unless you're like a biker's wife. And I was very honored to do that. And what it gave me was this perspective of kind of how jaded the rest of the world is, because they look at people like us and think that we're untrustworthy, that we're thieves, that we're this and we're that. But in reality, there is a sense of loyalty among kind of like the underdogs of this world that the rest of the world just doesn't have. And, you know, Jason Vukovich, for example, when him and I talk, he'll be like, hey, love you, sister. And my fiance, when the first time he heard that, he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, what do you mean love you? What do you mean? And he was curious. He's like, what does this mean? Like, is he hitting on you? And I'm like, no, no, no. When you come from the streets, when you find people who have helped you, who have related to you, who genuinely care about you, that becomes your brother, that becomes your sister, because they show you loyalty that even sometimes your own family hasn't shown you. So there's this like great sense of loyalty and connection, and I will look out for you and you look out for me, that the rest of the world just doesn't have. So I feel like other people are just kind of missing out, and they're just so wrong on what kind of people we actually are. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how scary we look, we're probably the biggest fucking teddy bears.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Like genuinely.
I mean, like, listen, I talk when I get off the phone with, you know, Amy or Michelle or Trev. Like, we will always say I love you to each other. There's nothing weird about it. Like, you know, but you know, Jason is like the one thing that I always want him to focus on is the amount of love that he's put into this world.
Yeah.
He's brought, like, he's given a family, like, to so many of us, in a safe place to go. And I know, like, it's great, you know, him being with you and JD inside of that trinity, because JD and you have done the same.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is like the guy that got this to help me get this show going first on the thing, Anthony Arillotta, is my brother to the end. He gave me the motivation to boot in the ass, like, that I needed to keep going every time I question myself or whatever I'm doing. But Jason made me dangerous because he gave me a purpose. He found that part inside of me that, like, you know, it made me, you know, I felt like for that point, I never felt alone from that point on, you know.
It's nice when we get to create the safe spaces that we didn't have. And I was, you know, talking to my fiance about it just the other day, because, you know, as I mentioned, as a kid, I was really neglected, really abused. There was plenty of red flags for the neighbors, all the people around us, and nobody protected me. And now that I'm a mom, my house has become a safe place for my daughter's friends. Like, there's a little girl whose mom kicks her out at like 9 o'clock and makes her like bike around and go to parks and just like do stuff. And she'll come to my house and, you know, I'll feed her and she'll be like, can I take some food home? Which tells me like she's not being fed at home. There's like all these red flags going off for me. And obviously I made the appropriate calls, but it was cool to me that like my house now gets to be the place where kids who are being neglected at home, who aren't being fed, they can come here. And there's just a sense of healing there. And, you know, when it comes to Jason, I always say nobody deserves it more than Jason. Because when you listen to his interviews or even the video that Iwu did, you know, the Iwu body cam footage and the Iwu story time, they did a big story on him. And one thing that always sticks out to me is he wrote a letter or made a statement, and he said that, you know, I became a thief, I became a drug addict, I became these things because it matched well with what I felt about myself, that I wasn't worthy, that I was a piece of shit. And oh my God, like I literally, my hair standing up, even just saying that, because it resonates with me so much. So to see him come from a place where he didn't feel worthy, wasn't loved, was being abused, thrown out into the world, thrown back with his abuser, the fact that he gets to now be older and create a space where people know they can come, they know they're loved, like it's just so special. Literally, if anybody deserves it, it's Jason. I have so much love for him to like the bitter end. He's a great dude.
His fucking, you know, his family, his channel, like we make it a very prevalent fact that it is a safe place to be, regardless of what you've got going on, who you are, what you identify at. None of that shit fucking matters. It is a fucking safe place to be. And if you want to be an asshole and make it not a safe place, you're gonna get fucking kicked. And like,
bye.
It's not gonna be quietly. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little too much lemon there.
Oh my God,
even
did you
the
see
trolls
that?
that show up for him, we'll say it here. Trolls, hit the like button as you get thrown the fuck out the door.
Right.
Be sure
My
to hit
drink
that like
just
button.
exploded in my face. Did you see that?
I thought
I don't know what happened. It's just ice. My ice just exploded lemon juice in my eye. I
It's
apologize.
the electricity in this live. That's what
I don't know
what
what that was about, but goddamn, that hurt.
I mean, it's better than bear mace. You know, you could be in Portland, Oregon right now getting fucking maced with Antifa.
Do you guys have bear mace in America?
Oh, yeah.
You guys
fucking
use that as
You can buy
weapons?
that shit at the grocery store.
Yeah, same here. You can buy it at like Home Depot. People often, I've gotten, even when I went on the Whatever podcast, and like, fuck the Whatever podcast, but when I went on the Whatever podcast and I was talking about my experience as like a woman on the streets when this fucking hooker tried to tell me that I only advocate for men because I haven't seen the evil of them. I was talking about like I grew up on the streets and I've experienced these things, and like everybody was clowning me. They're like, "Oh, Canada, how hard can the streets be?" And what people have to understand is, number one, we have a way smaller population than you guys, but we keep up in crime rate statistics, which means like we're fucked up here. Also, majority of people don't have guns. There are guns, but our politics are like there's a certain amount of guns and everybody knows who has it, like on the streets, right? So what we predominantly have is knives, batons, and bear mace. And to me, I just laugh at people when they're like, "Oh, Canadians," because I'm like, dude, you guys are shooting each other, but like we have to get into straight up knife fights, like some freaking West Side Story type shit. Like it's not fun.
I remember reading an article. It was like 2 years ago. There was like a trend. I think it was in Toronto where people were just walking up and smashing hammers through people's heads, like or something crazy.
Fucking brutal.
Yeah, you know
like,
what?
What the fuck? You know,
one of the guys that I grew up with, Tall Boy, he was killed, I think, two years ago now. He got stabbed to death by 6 people at a fucking train station. And I'm like, the audacity of people to like clown us and be like, "Oh, you guys are so cute. And what do you fight with? Maple syrup?" Like, no, bitch, it's hard out here.
Listen, that's how it is where I live. You know, I live in Connecticut, and people sit there and they're like, "Oh yeah, what's out there? Yale?" Like they think we're all these like Ivy League. We have some of the most dangerous cities in America. We have our cities are named. We have like hard hitting New Britain, gun wave in New Haven, the dirty. Like a friend of mine, a guy I was pretty close with, he was a bouncer at a club. He told one guy, like, "Hey, yeah, bro, like you can't come in. You've had too much to drink." They came back. It was like 5 of them. They would Phillips head screwdrivers knifed him up outside of the club, killed him.
Yeah.
Bro, them Phillips heads hit. That's all I gotta say is you can do some damage with that shit.
Bro, it's
Yeah,
wild.
No joke.
one of the first, because like I said, I grew up in between like 14 and 16. 17 is when I transitioned to like the downtown core of my city. So the way it works in my city, Calgary, Alberta, I don't know about now, obviously, because I'm not a part of that life anymore, but growing up, it was kind of sectioned off, right? So the north was predominantly Arab and black, and the south was predominantly, kind of like white kids, and then downtown was like the mixture. So between 14 and 16, I was in the South with, the white kids, and then we're like sectioned off by train stations. So the train stations that like I hung out with was Heritage. But when I was 17, I transitioned into downtown, and that was a very different place. But anyways, the point of the story is that um, the first one of our friend group that had gotten killed, his name was Brando Walker, and you can actually research this story. It was really big in the news, very tragic. And he, had a bad habit of fucking other dudes' girlfriends. Sometimes he knew, sometimes the girl had lied to him. And in this situation, the girl told him that she was single, but ended up being the boyfriend of somebody who was a part of the downtown crew. So this guy kidnapped Brando, held him hostage, tried to get him to sell drugs for him. I think it was like meth or cocaine at the time. I think it was meth. But Brando was like a good kid, from the South, suburban. And he refused. And they stabbed him and poured like chemicals, like Windex, I think it was Windex or bleach, one of the two, in his wounds, and took him out to the river, the big river that runs through our city, and fucking lit him on fire. And then it was a huge fucking story. Jameson, the main guy, the guy who's the boyfriend, tried to flee to the US and ended up bear macing a Canadian Border Patrol agent. And our Border Patrol don't fuck around. So they shot him. The other guy went to prison. He got killed in prison. And then the other dude is like out today. So yeah, like you don't need guns to do some pretty like fucked up and horrific things. I don't know why people think that gun violence is like the end all be all. And if you don't have guns, populated in your state or your country, things are just fine and dandy. But like, shit's fucking rough.
Well, and you
It's
can
not
still
much.
make them. You can still make guns. Like people think, like you don't have to be a rocket scientist. But like, so is Border Patrol like? So here we have the U.S. Marshals, right? I've been hit by the Marshals before a couple times. Not a fun experience. I would not recommend it. It's not great.
Doesn't
sure.
sound great.
Yeah, no. But is that kind of your guys's equivalency?
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm not 100% certain. What I mean by border patrol is like when you get up to the border, the
Like
border
right,
agents,
right.
yeah, that say,
Like
yeah, you can
Border
go into
Patrol,
America
yeah.
or not. Yeah, yeah, they're just called border patrol here. Our CMP, they're a different story. They're like, I don't know. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to end up like gang stalked with them or something. But they're definitely a criminal organization in their own, especially what they do to Indigenous people, and just their vigilante way of handling justice is like disgusting. So I don't know if you guys have issues like that out there, but our CMP, like, I don't fuck with them. I've never, like, you don't say anything wrong to them because they could like shoot you in the kneecaps and like take you outside of the city and make you walk back, and no one will ever believe you if you're in a certain, it's so fucked up. I don't want to say too much.
Well,
I don't want to end up getting my house swatted.
A lot of them, like the biggest problem and again, I'm sure people are gonna get upset. But with the stuff with the cartels on the southern border, a lot of times what they do is they'll find border patrol members that they'll research them. They'll find somebody that's got gambling problems, they got a drug problem, they're in debt, and then they'll offer them like an extra couple grand to, you know, all you got to do is just turn a blind eye. And then that's how
Right.
shit comes across the border, whether it's people, drugs, guns, whatever. And
Damn,
and
that's
that's how
kind
they
of
hook 'em.
genius. It's bad, but it's kind of genius.
Oh,
It's a
100%.
genius
They're smart.
business work.
But what happens is, now say you're a border patrol one, you know, you're doing that, and then you're like, all right, I don't want to take any part in this. Now it's fuck you. You get $100 and we're doing it anyways. And now
Right.
we have you on the take. So
Right.
they'll rip their hooks into you. And
Yeah.
and it is the border down here is so crazy. And there's a lot of good people that are just trying to they're running from the cartel. Like
Right.
that's what they're doing. But yeah, America is crazy. I'm kind of curious, like, what is the Canadian media like? How do they portray us?
That's a good
Like,
question for sure.
No. All right. Do you want the honest answer?
yes.
I'll give you the honest answer. Canadians, America is like our older brother that's always in and out of jail all the time, right? Like, we
Yep.
love you, we respect you, we'll always go up in arms with you, but we're kind of just like, what are you doing? Like, it's always kind of been that way. And you know, like when Canadians travel, every single one of us, we make sure that we have Canadian flags on our bags, on our clothing, whatever, because we don't want to get confused for American, because when you travel abroad, people aren't very nice to Americans. So, you know, shit was it was all right. It was sweet up until this whole like America versus Canada thing happened. And Canadians started to get a shit ton of hate, like just in the media from America, that we were kind of like, what the fuck did we do? Like, we've defended you in every war. Like, what's your problem? But
Right.
when we won that hockey game, everything went back to normal. We just don't care. Like, I think we recognize that you guys are under. And again, I don't have any like personal issues with Donald Trump. I'm not like an anti-Trump person. I'm just a Canadian. I'm just giving my perspective. When
Oh
that
yeah.
shit all happened, we were kind of like, you know, you guys are clearly not under the best leadership right now, because like, why would you want to fuck with Canada? Like, we've been nothing but allies. So we don't have issues with like the American people, but your government is pissing us off right now. But it's fine. We're Canadians. We just drink a beer, watch some hockey, and we're fine. But we do think that you guys are wilding a little bit, for sure. But it's not your fault.
The thing is crazy when it comes to Trump, and you have to, there's a lot for Americans. This is where a lot of people have to ask themselves, like, Donald Trump was somebody that was loved by so many people until he decided to run as a Republican. And then they changed his dime. They went after him relentlessly. And I mean, Trump is the ultimate asshole. Like, he's the ultimate troll. I mean, even
He
with
just
Trudeau,
trolls people. Yeah.
he is the apex of trolling people. Like, with Trudeau was a prime example. He's like, I had a great meeting with the governor of Canada. Like he's a dick. Like, and I love when he's like in rare form. But the problem is that, like, we've been in a Cold War for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, and there's certain areas, like JD's done extensive coverage on what's going on in Portland, and you know, but our media outlet, they're crazy. Like, the guy during 2020 was like, it's a peaceful protest out here. There's a car on fire in the background. You know, I mean, and this is why we have zero faith in media. So a buddy of mine who lives in like the northern part of Maine. He's like, if you want to know about America, check the Canadian news and at least see what they're saying, because we can't trust our own media outlets anymore, and that's both sides of it. It's crazy out here. So it's a wild west.
Not to do a shameless plug, but
shamelessly plug away.
Ground News just sponsored me, and I think that they're fantastic, and I wasn't aware of them before. I won't give my promo code or anything like that. I want you guys to really genuinely check it out for yourselves. But it's a news, not a news outlet. It's like it's an app where you can plug in any news article that's been written, And what this app does is it shows you where the bias is. So was it written predominantly by the right? Was it written predominantly by the left? It shows you where the original news source came from and how much has been kind of confabulated, right? So I really like that app because I mean, even as a Canadian, we're under mass censorship. Like I can't share a news article in my story, in my bio. It's literally blocked for Canadians. So we're experiencing so much of this censorship as well. So it's a really good app. I really encourage you guys to check it out. If you do want a discount, you can use my code Roma Army, but I want you to do your own research first. I don't want you to just get it because I'm promoting it. Like really research it for yourself. But it is really good at showing where the bias is, because it doesn't matter if you're in America or Canada, like your government will censor you because that's just what they do. They will censor the news. It's fucked up. We're at war.
I think that's why a lot of people I think now are afraid to speak out, because with the social media being so bad, you know, you've been doxxed. You know, I know friends of ours have been doxxed.
Banned numerous times.
You know, there's a very controversial figure I've sat with, you know, I talked with, and I'm trying to find sit with a counter argument to it, but Paul Miller, who is a complete, you know, he is a direct result from extreme doxing. I don't agree with how wild he gets, but this is somebody that he broke, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was a very independent journalist, and the threats of violence, and when I hate seeing somebody that goes through that, like, and did you see the result? And there's a proof that he's kind of one of those proof that hate is manufactured. It's not, you're not genetically predisposed to hate people or hate things. It's manufactured.
Yeah.
And the counter arguments to Paul are the ones that built him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think nobody's right in this situation, but there is a responsibility to try to bring people to the middle, even give them, like, I know we all ride for suicide prevention, try to spare people with the drugs, fight against child predators. These are all common ground issues that we can all get behind. And it has to start there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I try to do. You know, I was accused by Andrew Wilson and being too feminist, which is fucking crazy because I've been like annihilated my entire career for not being feminist enough. But his perspective was that, you know, I was too feminist, I was too liberal, which is just weird for me because I am a Canadian liberal, but I'm like a neoliberal. I don't agree with all of this craziness that's happening nowadays. And I find myself quite aligning and agreeing with the right sometimes. And I think we need to do a better job of like bringing people together. That's why my content isn't political. I don't give a fuck what you identify as long as you're not hurting anybody. And if we had a lot more of this, you know, the right and the left able to come together on common grounds, we would have a lot less issues than what we're having, especially with doxing. And like, I'll call out the left for this. The left is notorious, especially in Canada, where it's not just about intolerance anymore. It's like intolerance of anything perceived as intolerance. And what they'll do with that is they'll dox you, they'll ruin your career, they'll make allegations against you. And these are issues that you're predominantly seeing coming out of the left because they're just so fucking crazy with, like, you know, anti-intolerance, and it's fucking dangerous. Like, you don't know what somebody's dealing with. For me specifically, getting doxxed is extremely dangerous for me because my daughter's dad is like an absolute fucking quackadoodle. Like, you can literally look up news articles. This guy went into our casino in Calgary and robbed it with a sawed-off shotgun. And yes, it's a reflection of who I chose to date and who I chose to have a baby with, for sure. But two things can be true at once. This guy is violent. He's unpredictable. I went through extreme domestic violence, fled when my daughter was 3 weeks old, and 8 years later, he still emails me being like, why can't I have custody of my kid? If nobody can have Hosanna, if I can't have Hosanna, nobody will. Like, this is the kind of guy that if he found out where I lived, he 1000% would either come into my house, kill me and kidnap my daughter, or just kill me, or just kidnap my daughter. Like, he's extremely violent, extremely unpredictable. And so when I got doxxed back in 2020, the moment I got doxxed, I tried to move, and I moved here. And one day, I'm not even shitting you, one day after I moved, I lived in a condo, and the woman who ran the store downstairs called me, and she said there was a man who came in the store with a poster with Hosanna's face on it, making it sound like she'd been kidnapped. Like, if you see this child, call this number. Like, because I got doxxed, he found out where we lived. Thankfully, he missed me by one day. But like, when you're so angry and you're so like, oh, this person is, spreading hate or this or that, like, when you dox people, you don't actually know if what implication that has on their children, on their family. So we need to like calm the fuck down. And I think the way to do that is, for sure, find a way to bring the right and the left together. And that's what I really like about JD's community, my community, Jason's community, is that we all clearly come from like different political aligning, different religious beliefs, but we can all come together on this one ground. And I think that should be 1000% cherished and encouraged.
Well,
The
how do you go about, like, I mean, how do you shield your kids and your family from the malevolence of the internet? Because it is, I mean, it's a firestorm out there when you piss people off. If anybody that dares buck the system, it comes with a price. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, both of my kids, I have a daughter and I have a son. My daughter is 8 and my son's about to turn 4. And keeping them off social media is going to be the greatest thing. My daughter loves to like brag. And so she'll be like, my mom's famous, or my mom has a YouTube play button, just things that like kids try to say. Even my younger siblings, I have a 10-year-old sister and a 14-year-old brother. And I try to tell them like, not everybody likes me. Like, don't say that, like, guard your privacy. But at the end of the day, if people want to, find your family or fuck around with them, they're going to do it. So you just got to do your best, right? Like, I shield my daughter's last name, for example. Like, even some of her dad's family members who have contact with her, like, they don't know what her legal last name is. They think it's his last name. It's not, and it's not mine. They don't know. So there's certain things that I've done to take steps to protect my kids. But, it's inevitable, especially with my daughter, because I want to do this up until she's 16. And then when she's 16, I'm going to retire. I'm going to give everything to her and I'm going to go back to school. I really want to go for criminal profiling, forensic psychology. I want to dive into all the things that I've been super passionate about. So, I can only protect her for so long, but I just think educating your children is the number one way to protect them, especially in today's society when like predators, and even not just child predators, but like predators that hate you and therefore like want your child. You just got to do your best. I don't think that there's a strict code except for keep them the fuck off social media until they're at least like 14. Like, my daughter's not going to have any social media until she's 14. And that even feels too soon. Like, I want to go 16, but I don't think that's going to fly because social media is going to be so much more prevalent when she's a teenager. And I might end up like othering her, making her the weird kid out. So it's tough, man. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it.
I think
it's hard.
I mean, we're building the plane while flying. Trev had to help me. My oldest, he had snuck a phone. He took a phone from me, and he got exposed to. Unfortunately, he watches me and Trev, so I mean, like, he's been exposed to a lot of really serious conversations, and I respect he's interested and wants to learn, but he got exposed to Charlie's murder, and me and Trev and Jason and Michelle, and Amy have spent a lot of time trying to reconcile that and help him with that. And this is like kids really need to be very mindful because now, like, I mean, even Instagram, holy shit, like some of the stuff I come across on there, it is insane. Like, it should
Yeah.
never be on. We used to remember they used to have those movies when I was younger. I know I think I'm older than both of you, but we used to have how were they? Faces of Death. You had to find these VHS tapes. Now this is just common practice on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
My biggest
it's a real
concern,
thing, man.
my biggest concern is the over sexualization of women, especially when it comes to both of my children. I'm not concerned about one over the other. I'm very concerned about both of them, especially when you look at all the studies that are coming out about how many children have been unconsensually shown like pornographic content through like OnlyFans models, Instagram and TikTok. I think it was like 58%. I talked about it on the Whatever podcast. But there's these kids are being exposed to shit that like society is trying to tell them is normal. Like, I'll be fucking damned if someone's grungy ass daughter convinces my daughter that it's okay and acceptable for her to use a platform to get OnlyFans at 18, or if somebody teaches my son that this is, how he should look at women, that this is acceptable. Like, fuck right off. These kids are being exposed to things that they should never be exposed to because social media has become such prevalence. And I'm so lucky that I didn't grow up with social media. Like, social media, I think Instagram was around, I don't know, I'm 28, but when I was a teenager, I didn't have any of this shit. So, I was just on the streets. I was selling weed and fighting people and kicking down doors. I don't know which one's better than the other, but at least I wasn't exposed to social media. And now you have these grown-ass women telling little girls that it's empowering to show your body, and telling them that they're insecure if they don't want a woman that does that. Like, fuck off. I'm not having any of that. I won't have my son look at women as objects, and I won't let my daughter think it's acceptable to be an object. Like, over my dead body.
It's fucking real, man. I've had a big thing within my family just within like the last 3 weeks. It hasn't been a thing. I've stood my ground on it for the last couple of years. My oldest is 14. He's a great kid, but my thing is like, so he doesn't have social media, just like you, Chloe, like how with your kids. And so he has, the only reason he has a smartphone is so I can fucking track him. You know what I mean? I know where he's at. It's not for any other reason. And we're at the point now, we just passed his 14th birthday a few months ago. And it's to the point where everybody else in the family thinks it's appropriate for him to have social media. And I, for a hot minute, I caught pedophiles. You know what I mean? That was my thing. I caught a case for it. They gave me a hate crime for it. I don't give a fuck about all that.
Wait, excuse me? You got hit with a hate crime for going after a pedophile? Yeah. Are they a protected class now?
In the US, they are a protective class of people. I promise.
Stop it.
I'm not.
Pedophiles?
Pedophiles are crazy, right?
A hate crime?
So a hate crime. So I got hit with a hate crime for it, and that's all redundant. It doesn't matter. I'll take that hate crime any day of the week.
Yeah, bro.
But my thing is like, I will not. His grandma sent a nice new fucking brand new phone. Like, oh, let's give him fucking a new phone. He can have social media. He can talk to it. And what she doesn't understand, and what I'm not willing to do, and even, my wife's side of the family, they're all like, oh, let him have a fucking phone. Listen, I am not willing. I know what comes across my feed on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not willing to let my 14-year-old son go through that shit. Not only that, he already gets enough with when his little homies come and hang out at the house. They're all great kids. I'm not, going to say anything about anybody else's kid, but like, they're all fucking on their phone, like, oh, look at this, look at this. It's like, I see what the fuck you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, and we're not doing all this. Like, listen, you are gonna respect women. You are gonna have a good head on your shoulders. You're not gonna be bit by a venomous snake when it comes to how you look at women, how you view politics, how you view. I want my kid to have my opinion until he's old enough, or my daughter is old enough to have their own opinion.
Right.
Up until they're old enough to make those decisions themselves, it is my decision as a father to make sure in my household they are following our household standard, what it is. And I'm just not willing to do it. So I completely understand where you're at. I can only imagine.
It's crazy because, you know, I didn't really have access to the internet. So I can't necessarily relate to this, but a lot of other people who are, you know, my age, they'll talk about getting preyed on in like chat rooms and stuff, like places that they knew they shouldn't have been, but just like child curiosity kind of got them. And now, you know, I was watching the episode that you did with Jason, where he was talking about Roblox, and it really just like, it's everywhere now. It's on Snapchat, it's on Roblox, like these places where children are just trying to be like innocent kids are just infected now. It's so much harder to protect your child now than it was. And especially if you are one of those parents that's like, I don't want you to have social media, you're risking them then getting like bullied or othered. And it's like, it's such a tough place to be in. But yeah, like protecting our children 100% comes first. And I feel so sorry for whoever tries to prey on one of my kids. I feel so sorry for them, because it's just not going to end well.
And I'll say it again. What fucking grown ass man? Like, I get if you were playing Roblox, just you and your son or your daughter, like as an adult. But when you are fucking, you know, an adult, I mean, if you grew up on it, I'll give you a pass. Like,
right.
I've never played that shit a day in my life.
But listen, I don't want to play that game.
Dude,
I don't know what a skibbity toilet is, bro. I don't know anything. You already know my gangster ass son, bro. I don't know what it is. Any of this shit, bro. He's speaking in tongues, brain rot. He's talking about, like, he's speaking a foreign language with this crap. But what the thing is like my daughter, I've caught 4. I mean, granted, because we're live and this is a public platform, I won't say the words I chose to use on this individual. But regardless, it was not great. But I fed him to the crew that I'm with. You already know, Trev. And they found him. He was a multi-offender. Like, you know, he had probably at least 9 already. And he's hanging out in this little kid's game. Now, to be fair, when you did that thing with Ground News, it was a clip about Roblox and me and Jason.
Yeah.
You know, there was a guy in the chat, like, and homie, like, if he sees this, bro, like, nobody was saying that Roblox needs to be shut down. We get it. There's other platforms. And this was in your comment. You can go back and see it.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
There was, yes, every platform. And if there's an internet presence, there are child predators in it. That is Call of Duty, everything under the sun. If there's a will, there's a way.
Right.
Roblox just happens to be the biggest thing. And I promise you, I have people in the FBI that have told me direct. There's a woman who's going to be on soon. She infiltrates she was in the FBI. She infiltrated the child predator rings. And that is not just Roblox. Just understand, this isn't just used for child trafficking, like, or predators. There are murder for hire contracts that have come up on there. There's drug trafficking, arms dealing. There's so much, because they go in there, read the chats. Like, there's everything in there. It is the closest thing to the dark web.
It's a fucking Silk Road in a fucking children's video game.
Yeah,
Well,
bro.
my issue is because, yeah, I mean, there were people that were like, well, what about Instagram? There's pedophiles on Instagram. Should Instagram be shut down? Look, it's not, you made a great point. There's going to be pedophiles everywhere, even off the internet. There's pedophiles in our own fucking family. My issue was when there was a guy on Roblox, and regretfully, I can't remember his name, but he was on there literally catching child predators, and Roblox sent
Wasn't
him.
it Schlep?
That's fuck. Give me his name starts with a S.
Yeah, I
JD
think it was.
has had him on several times.
Yeah, he was like fucking banned and sent
Schlep.
some sort of summons to like stop doing what he was doing. And I'm like, okay, like now you're clearly protecting the predator. So my daughter's not allowed to play Roblox. I mean, I had all of the settings set up. Her voice chat was off, her chat was off, you know, nobody can add her, all of those things. But it's just the main principle of you're not protecting children. So somebody else has to do it, and you're so hard pressed about that. Why? Like that was so fucking sus to me. I'm like, you're done. No more.
His name was Schlep.
Yep.
Schlep.
His screen
And
name was
he's
Schlep.
getting like sued or something by them.
Yeah, no, they're
Yeah.
going after him like crazy, and it's like, and he's a young cat. Like he's young. He's not like a grown ass man.
Does he have a legal fund that he's crowdfunding? Like, is there a way I can like donate to? Can my community
Yeah,
donate to him?
Amy,
Hold on.
if you can find out if there's something for him, if not, let's put something together because you know we can't let this man go alone on this fight because this is ridiculous.
That's literally
He's
insane.
been going through some bullshit. I know on YouTube he has 2.2 million followers, and his YouTube name is just Schlep. It's SCHLEP. And his popular videos are Roblox Take a Seat featuring Chris Hansen, Roblox Predator Tries to Run featuring Predator Catcher Dijon.
Yeah, I can see that here. Yeah.
He's got a few, but I mean, it was to the point where him and his friend, who were actively exposing child predators on Roblox, they were having to hide their identity on I think it was on JD's channel. Like that he was doing an interview and they were having to hide their identity. Which is crazy. Like
yeah, there's no good excuse for
No.
that. I couldn't even imagine owning an app that punishes not the pedophiles, but the pedophile hunter. I mean, that's just fucking crazy. It just goes to show that these issues run deeper in our society than we think.
Oh, it's fucked up. And I mean, so here's my hot take for the night. Is and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Unfortunately, a lot of times when adoption and foster care is in the mix is where child predators come out to play. I don't think that it's wrong to let, by any means, like, a gay couple or, whatever. None of that shit matters, right? To me, as long as they're good, decent human beings. What we need to stop is the fact that there are active child predators who are in a relationship who don't want anything to do with each other. They want children, and they are saying, "Oh, we're a gay couple or we're a straight couple," whatever.
Are you referring to those guys?
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Polyamorous couple?
No.
There's
Amy, what was their names? Text me real quick.
I'm trying. Yeah, Amy's gonna have to find them because I can't remember the name.
Just their names. I don't need a master list. Like,
but there was two men who one was fucking, I don't know, trans, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. But they were actively going through being able to adopt children for one reason and one reason only, and that was to produce child porn. That was to abuse them. That was to, it was fucking disgusting. And that's my whole thing is like, thankfully, I grew up in a semi-decent family. They didn't make the best decisions. I definitely went through abuse. I didn't go through abuse like that with them. They put me in situations, unfortunately, where I went through it. but
Right.
it's, you know, you can, and as a father now, especially to a teenager and a toddler, like I could never understand how you could put your fucking kids in a situation like that,
Yeah.
especially to where it's like you as fucking individuals in a country, US, Canada, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter, to where you have an adoption system, whether it's in the States, out of the States, you're bringing in, you know, children from other fucking countries, whatever. How in the fuck are you going to hand children over to people who are not verified to be like normal fucking people? How are
Yeah.
you gonna potentially hand a fucking innocent child over to a fucking child predator? That is
Yeah.
my, like, what the
Well,
fuck is wrong with people?
I think the answer to this solution is I think it's a little bit complex, but also like not really. I think it starts with, I think as we were talking about before the show, I'm a huge fan of John Douglas, the criminal profiler behind Mindhunter. And I think that there's something to that in the sense of, the government agencies, social services, whatever, they need to study the cases of adoption that has happened where abuse has happened, sexual abuse has happened. They need to find patterns and then they need to work, accordingly. And, in my case, the woman who adopted me, she had a stillborn baby. Like she was born fully developed at 9 months, but she was stillborn, which means like the baby is dead for those that
Right.
don't know in the chat. And, that was obviously extremely traumatic. I couldn't even imagine as a mother what that must have been like. But I think because of that, she went like completely off of her rocker. And then she adopted me, I think, thinking that I was going to replace that child. But when you adopt a child, especially from a third world country, which Romania was at the time, in awful conditions in an orphanage, your child is not going to attach to you right away. They're going to have all of these, different issues that I just don't think she was prepared for. So I think the fact that I didn't attach to her, I didn't, love her like her natural born baby would have, that caused so much resentment and like hate, where she just like she literally hated me, like reminded me every single day. And so I think we need to start studying these cases, but we also need to stop incentivizing adoption. And what I mean by that is here in Canada, they were giving 5-year 98% tax rebates to families that were adopting these fucking children. So, like, no shit, you give someone a 98% tax cut for 5 years for adopting a kid, you're gonna have a shit ton of people that are just doing it for that. Or even, the foster system. I was pretty lucky. I think I only had 2 foster moms before I went into group homes or residential treatment facilities like Hall Services. But you have foster parents that are not equipped. They just pass a background check. There's no type of psychological
They don't
profiling,
give
no
a fuck.
nothing. And they
Yeah.
end up just like molesting these kids, or the husband is taking pictures of the daughter, or the mother is molesting the boy. And it's fucking chronic, and they won't do anything to address it. And the issue is that social services and the police are not a combined unit, which they should. Like the abuse that I went through, when I'm obsessed with like interrogations. I've watched probably every single interrogation channel, every video up to date. And when I look at the child abuse cases where the parents have murdered the child, it literally makes me sick, because in almost all of those cases, those are things that I went through. And the only reason why my family didn't end up killing me is because I had the balls at 9 years old to run away. That could have been me. Like the abuse I was experiencing, the closest cases that matched my abuse, those kids were already dead. And so when I got angry about this a couple years ago, and I called my old caseworker and I said, why didn't social services charged. Well, why weren't my parents charged? I was found in a room with nothing in it, no blanket, no pillow, no carpet, no mattress. The board was heating up, boarded up. The heater was boarded up. I was, my room was covered in feces because I wasn't allowed to go to the washroom. I was incredibly malnourished, incredibly dirty. Why the fuck weren't they charged? And essentially, their answer was because they didn't kill you, because social services will look at it as, oh, it's not necessarily the child's problem, but often what she said is that you'll see cases where there's a targeted child. So I was the targeted child. The other children weren't abused, but because of the neglect that was happening to me, it enabled a family dynamic where her older son was like molesting me, but she wasn't abusing any one of the kids. So they're like, oh, let's just take the problem child out and it'll be fine. And they never fucking charged her. So there needs to be more correlation with the police and social services. And once that happens, then we can start to profile the types of parents that end up abusing these children. Fostering and adoption should always be available, but they need to do a better job at vetting this shit, because hand to God, the only reason I survived was not because of any courtesy of anybody else. It's because I had the balls to run away. And it took a lot of balls. 9 years old. Like, I didn't know there were people that could help me. I thought I was going to be homeless.
Well,
like, I thought I was going to have to sneak into Safeway. I don't know if you guys have a Safeway, but it's like a grocery store. I thought that I was going to have to like hide in there after they closed and eat all the free samples. That's what I thought was going to happen to me. I had no idea that people could protect me. So it's a broken system.
And it really is. I mean, let me put it this way. So being, going through foster, adopt, all that. So my youngest is nonverbal autistic. And they put me and my wife, through more of a background check and through more like, often visits and all that shit than they do when I was a kid in the system. Like, it's, you know what I mean? And granted, it's that like, it's, it's a good thing, but it's like, man, like, why are these things not up to par with each other? Why are they not the same? Why is it not all the same? Like,
well, because a lot of, honestly, man, the truth that I've learned through talking with people in the federal government is a lot of these state-run agencies, they double deal. Like, they are actually part of child trafficking. You have people, caseworkers within these agencies that make a couple extra bucks to put children in select homes.
Yeah.
To just bypass all the vetting process that is already in place. These things are actually in place. You have people just purposely, they rubber stamp it and then it's fine because they're giving these kids to predators.
You're so right.
There's 1,000 examples of this between the US, Canada, and and the UK. I can give you the information right now. Like, it is. There is like a prime example is
it's a fucking it's a pay to play system.
It is a pay to play system. When I sat down with Jay back in March, the day before I sat with Jason in Waterbury, the city next to me, there was a woman, and you might have gotten the news up in Canada about it. There was a woman that had her son walled up inside of a room for 20 plus years. It's ridiculous. Like, first and foremost, where the fuck was child services? Every person that was involved in that case should be fucking called. I don't give a fuck if you retired. Bring you in. Like, you getting indicted because you failed this kid. Where were the teachers? Where were there were so many people. Where were the other family members? How did nobody know that this kid just disappeared off the face of the earth? And
that's exactly like my case.
He said that it rivaled Auschwitz. Dude, he had to create a system when he used the bathroom to push it out the window so he didn't have to deal with that shit. And this bitch is gonna fucking most likely, she's on the streets now. Because some fucking cocksucker in the police department leaked information. And what that does is it fucks up the case in a lot of ways, because now it makes it seem like you're trying to manipulate society ahead of time. Because of our wonderful justice system, you can have all the physical evidence you want, but if you're starting to paint the narrative, you're basically owning the jury. So she's most likely going to fucking walk. I hope that's not the case. But there's so many people. This is a common practice. This is one of 10 million examples that happen in the U.S. and never get talked about.
Yeah, it reminds me of the first case I think I ever worked on as a men's rights advocate, where I believe it was out of Australia. The dad approached me because basically the mom, like, you know, claimed abuse. There was no physical evidence of it whatsoever against the dad. And social services gave the custody to mom. Well, you fast forward about a year later, and her child, who was a daughter, I think she was 6. She was very young, like 5 or 6. This was a long time ago, so forgive me if I'm a little rusty on the details. But the mother brought the girl into the hospital because she broke her arm and her nose. And a caseworker was there with the doctor, and they asked the girl, how did this happen? And the little girl said, mom broke my nose. And the father was present because the father had visitation, but no custody rights. So the father was present. And the mother was basically like, no, this isn't true. The dad told her to say this during the visitation. So they stripped the dad of visitation, didn't investigate the mother. The father made a few calls to social services. There was a caseworker that was going over there and continuously clearing the mother. Well, the child disappeared, and the father was like very concerned. He's like, where is my daughter? Like a month or 2 passed. Oh my God, like I just have goosebumps. It's fucking awful. And when the police went in to investigate, long story short, this woman killed her daughter and buried her outside her window where she watered the plants every day. And when the investigation was actually done, it was found out that the caseworker that was assigned could clearly see signs of abuse. There was red flags there, but the mom was paying her off with some sort of like, it's not like food stamps, but it's like something like some sort of like government assistance that they get. I can't remember the name of it right now, but she was essentially paying the caseworker off. And the caseworker had bias towards men. I think she had grown up in an abusive household where the father was abusing the mother. So this caseworker had implicit bias to just believe the mother and was like, okay, fine, and took the bribes, and the daughter ended up getting like fucking killed. And eventually everybody was like, oh my God, you know, the father was innocent. He was trying to protect his daughter. But what fucking good is that when your daughter is dead, buried in the front garden? Like what the fuck? Like, yeah, the system is extremely broken. And I really hope that guy has justice, because it was a very similar situation to me where, you know, I was adopted when I was 2 and I ran away when I was 9. So for the better part of those 7 years, I was locked in a room. I wasn't being fed properly. I was not being bathed unless it was like cold showers for punishment. It was so fucking bad. Like, yeah, like literally locked in a room for the last 2-3 years of my life there. And to think that, you know, this woman is out free. She's teaching at Bow Valley College. She apparently, from last I heard, she gives like some sort of clinical analysis to like parents who are adopting children and what to look out for. Meanwhile, this woman fucking tortured a child in her home for the better part of 7 years. Like, how is this allowed to happen, right? Like, we need to come together, and as a society, we need to demand that it be better and that the system be broken.
You know what?
Or not broken, that the broken system becomes like fixed. Hold on, excuse me a second. My dog is barking. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. I'm going to use this as a time point to just showcase our brothers in arms, like that have been they've been day one motherfuckers. They've rode for this. Aunt Arillotta, Money Mayhem and the Mafia, and who's also the sponsor of the show with Pazzo Wine. Gucci Boomer, who he advocates for a lot of stuff. Johnny Alite, Jason Vukovich, JD Delay. These are all people that we support, that have supported us, that rode for us, and ride for something that's meaningful. And I'm happy to have that Roma's one of a sister in arms, our first sister in arms.
Absolutely.
I was laughing earlier today. I'm like, it's so on par for me, like, just growing up around, the people I grew up with, and kind of like the, like misfits of society. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but it's just how society labels them, or like, ex-bikers, or like, it's just so funny that I ended up being so close with people that fit the mold of exactly what I grew up with. Like, I never got out of that. It's just so funny. It's such an honor. It's where my heart belongs.
I mean,
I belong with the misfits.
I tell my kids, if you're ever lost, go up to a biker.
Would you say, Trev?
I said, I tell my kids, it's a real thing. If you're ever lost, you can't find mom or dad, go up to a biker. The biggest, most tattooed motherfucker you see, go up to them, and they will make sure you come back to me. Period.
I don't care. I'll throw that love like to my brother, like my friends. I got a lot of friends in 81. Like, I love you guys. Like, but let me tell you, despite the reputation, I'm not endorsing crime. I'm just saying, they've been some of the most genuine bastards that I've ever met. When Sandy Hook happened, bro, they showed up in full fucking force. Every feeder club, every charter from here, like across the board, they showed up for these kids. But I'm gonna tell you something that pisses me off, bro, when it comes to like what Roma just said and the broken ass system, is everybody, like, I personally, in our world, I think the worst fucking thing to happen to the United States is the white liberal, bro, because they don't ride for shit. Let me tell you, they're so offended by Uncle Ben being on a box of rice and not giving two fucking shits about these kids, homie. Like, that is the truth. Like, it's the PC crowd, and fuck you, Jeffrey Marsh. I see you. Like, I don't care. Like, everybody told me don't say that shit. Well, you know what? I've seen what he's done to friends of ours. Buck Angel, I love you, brother. Like, that Buck rides for some real shit. But then you have clowns that predators are out there celebrated. And I'm not taking my boot off the neck. I've seen what Jeffrey's crowd has done to that 30-year-old Indian woman who posted, what fucking jackass is sitting there talking about, make your parents leave the room because this message is for the little kids. Fuck you, bro.
Like, I don't know anything about what you're talking about, but just right off the bat, that sounds fucked up.
No,
it is. Trust me, with his crooked ass Joker smile. And I've already been threatened by a couple of his sycophants. I ain't going nowhere, bro. Like, you're telling me I've been threatened to be stabbed, firebombed, decapitated, raped. I've threatened by all of it. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, these monsters, this broken ass system, if you want to protest something, do something that matters. Ride for something or die for nothing. Like, that's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I'm getting a little fired up. I'm getting a little emotional. Might be the Pazzo. I don't know.
In regards to what you said about 81, my heart will always be with those boys and with that family. And one thing that I've always loved that not a lot of people know is sorry, there's someone doing something real weird outside of my house, but I can't see, so fuck it. Here in my city, in the city of Calgary, Alberta, Hells Angels are the #1 donors to the Children's Hospital here in Canada. They give multi-million dollars every single year. And I think because they donate so much money, like, people don't really, because there's a lot of concerns like, oh, could they be proceeds of crime? Who fucking cares when you're paying for like a kid's cancer treatment, bro? Who fucking cares? Like, these people really are. And it just goes to show what I was talking about earlier is, what society will paint as like the misfits of society are often the ones that care the most. And yes, when there's, drug dealing or kicking in doors or anything that a group may be alleged to be involved with, yes, it's wrong. And, I can agree with that. But at the end of the day, I think people are a product of society and how they're treated. And, as a men's rights advocate, I think that men so often fall into those positions and into that life because people don't genuinely care. We have a mold of what men are supposed to be, that they're supposed to be tough, they're supposed to be extroverted, they're supposed to be, well put together. But when you have men that are growing up with, vindictive mothers, terrible homes, abusive fathers, you're breeding a society that's going to essentially become an outcast and start problems. And often we don't want to show empathy. We don't want to have understanding because we think it's making excuses. It's kind of like what we were talking about before the show began about how most notorious serial killers, one thing that John Douglas, the FBI profiler behind Mindhunters, found is that the overwhelming majority of them, with an exception of few like Jeffrey Dahmer, had really abusive, man hating, overbearing mothers. And that's not to place blame on, women, like it's women's fault that these men grew up and committed heinous crimes. That's not it. What it's saying is that the support or lack thereof that we give our sons in their formative years will breed what they turn into. And so I think if society spent less time criticizing what these grown-ass men are doing versus actually fostering a society that is supporting these men when they're young, not saying things like man up, be tough, don't cry like a girl, go punch that bully in the face. Like there's just certain things that are breeding the society that we have that nobody wants to, especially women, especially feminist organizations. They don't want to share any of the funding. They don't want to give any sort of humanity to men because they think it's making excuses for the bad behavior that's already happening. But what they're not understanding is that preventative measures are the most effective in society. And it just starts from when they're young. Like my son is only 3 years old, and every time I post him, which is not very often, it's very rare because his comments make me sick, but I see women in the comments at the masses being like, make sure you don't raise him to rape women. Make sure that he knows not to beat women. And it's like, you're already labeling him as the fucking problem. You're just assuming that because he has a penis, that he's going to grow up and do these heinous things. But why don't we have these conversations with our daughters? Why don't we talk to them about consent, about body shaming, about empathy, so that they don't grow up to raise sons behind a I hate all men ideology? Like where's the fucking accountability, dude? There isn't any. And that's my biggest issue. Is it's not, people don't want to show empathy towards, maybe people like me or people like JD or Jason or you guys that have, maybe done things growing up that we're not proud of. Maybe we've committed crimes, maybe we've just done things. But what people don't understand is oftentimes we're doing the best we fucking can with the cards that we're dealt. And if you don't want people that come out in society doing these things, then we need to start paying attention to what's happening when they're young. And people just aren't ready for that conversation. So we're going to continue to have predators. We're going to continue to have gang members, continue to have organized crime, and nothing's going to be done about it, except people are just going to point to statistics and be like, men are the problem. Well, why do you think that is?
I mean, it's always been that joke, like, and it had to be for at least like the last 40 years. It's like, it's always, oh, dumb men. It's like, oh, it's a dumb man statement. They make us out to be. There was a guy. Are you familiar with Kevin Samuels?
Of course, yeah. Him and I butted heads a little bit, but I have full
he's
respect
definitely
for him.
wild. He was definitely wild. I mean, but
yeah,
the
rest in
thing
peace.
is he was so aggressive on maintaining, like, protecting at least our position on stuff, especially because you know more than anybody that you get a lot of these women, they're looking for somebody with a like 7-figure income that's a bodybuilder, and these
The
people, like,
1%.
they're like the 0.5% of the world.
Yeah.
Like, and when you are adorning yourself with nothing but sweatpants and you don't even get like that is like the mindset of most of these women out here. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
why don't, there's a lot of nice guys or good guys that will take care of you, like that. They don't even want to take care of somebody. They just want somebody to connect with. There was a
Yeah.
real, I think you just posted it recently. That guy that refused to date, he just because a woman wouldn't open the door.
Right.
Just normal. I was proud of him when he drove away. Like, I was like, damn, all right, this guy's all right, but the amount of like that we have to provide, all this crazy ass expectation, that's just it puts so much pressure on us, and there's a lot of lonely ass guys that will fall victim to that. They'll fall into that snake pit.
Well, the thing is that, I used to, at the beginning of my career, when I was way more liberal than I am now, like I'm still liberal. I will always claim liberal. But I used to be of the opinion that it's like, we shouldn't expect men to do these things. We shouldn't expect them to be providers. We shouldn't expect them to be protectors. And my opinion on that has kind of changed because I do believe in roles. But where it's changed is that I think it's okay as a woman to want a man who is protecting and providing. I definitely want to raise my son to be a protector and a provider. However, we spend so much energy putting that into men at such a young age that we put them as providers and protectors first and human beings second. And what that does is it makes women have no accountability, no responsibility, and it just breeds entitlement. So I do think that it's okay to want a man or expect a man to be a protector and a provider, but where
Yeah.
we fall off is we don't tell men what to expect in return. And in fact, the mere thought of that is seen as misogynistic. Well, I'm fucking sorry. If my son is going to be working his ass off 50 hours a week, barely gets time with his kids, barely gets time with you, but he wants to give you everything that he feels you deserve, you need to give something back. And what I've learned about men is that they feel the most empowered and they feel the most valuable when they are protecting and providing. But what they need is positive reinforcement, positive affirmation, a woman who says, I know that you're out working your fucking ass off. So every day that you get home, I make sure the house is clean, it's peaceful, it's warm, it's cozy. You're not coming home to me bitching about, how hard it was because my gas didn't pump properly. Like, there are certain roles. And if you're going to expect a role from a man, you better show up as a woman. And I'm a pretty stand-up woman. I can say that. But what my relationship has taught me, especially as a woman that's been more masculine in my life, is that it takes the right man to put you in your feminine energy, but that also puts men into more of like their masculine role. So there is a give and take that needs to happen that we just don't tell men. We literally tell them that they need to show up, they need to deal with everybody else's problems, shut the fuck up about your own, don't expect any gratitude, don't expect anything. You're just lucky if you get a beautiful woman. Absolutely the fuck not.
Well,
No.
that's common practice even amongst men, though. Like, me and Trev and in this family, it's an exception because we support each other. We're there at our darkest moments. But a lot of men, there's a lot of people, we just get uncomfortable,
Yeah.
in certain situations. Society has groomed you from birth to think that it's not okay.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the Marlboro man,
Yeah.
essentially. Um, and if it wasn't for the work that I think you've put in, and there's a handful of others, that this would never be a topic of conversation.
Yeah.
It would always remain silent.
We need to share. I've always said that equality means sharing equal responsibility. And, as a pretty, tough woman myself, that, I'm very self-made, all odds, all statistics were against me, and I did it. I want to raise my daughter to have the skills to do it on her own, to know the red flags, to stay away from certain kinds of men. But I also want to teach her that if you are one of, these women that do want to be a homemaker, you want to have a man provide for you, you need to understand the responsibility that comes with that, so that she's not growing up into one of these women that's just like, oh, I'm beautiful, so therefore everything should be given to me. She needs to understand that with every sacrifice a man will make for you, there is a downfall that often only he will feel, unless you make it your problem too. Like, most men will not come home and be like, I am so stressed. I don't know, I'm cut short on hours. I don't know how I'm going to make this payment. We don't encourage men to open up in society or even to their wives, because we teach them that it's not masculine. So as women, we need to pioneer that, especially because we have been taught that it's okay to express yourself. I mean, I wasn't, but I'm not the typical woman. Most women are encouraged to feel, encouraged to cry, encouraged to advocate for themselves. And so we need to take the skill that has been made socially acceptable for us and share that with men. And it goes both ways. I think men need to share their skills when it comes to protecting, providing, being strong, being fearless. Like, we need to feed off of each other to protect each other. And there's no grasp of that in society. It's just like, I'm a woman, I have tits, I let you fuck me. Sorry for my language, but
I call
that's
Jeffrey
You
good
can say
enough.
whatever you want
No, I
here.
think we're
Okay.
safe.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm allowed to
We
say
said
that.
much crazier things.
Besides, yeah, don't worry. I'm not that kind of girl. Like, you could say whatever.
Okay. Yeah, we just need to share the responsibilities. So although I will teach my son to protect and, provide for the right woman, I will also teach him to have high standards in what he expects in return. And when I've spoken about this in the past, I've been labeled as a misogynist. It's the all day, every day therapist, mother maid women that are like, this is so oppressive. And it's like, but you don't understand the pressures that's going to be on my boy, especially that he is being brought into a society that will automatically paint him as evil and, inequipped if he doesn't hit a certain box. So yeah, I just won't have it. I'm very scared for my son, actually, and I want to
Well,
keep him off social media probably more than my daughter, because we're in a society where women are protected, and they totally should be. Like, we're very loving, empathetic, quiet, docile creatures for the most part. But we also need to protect men, because where we lack physically, they lack emotionally. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we need
no,
to
for
we,
sure,
we need
yeah.
to go like this.
There is
and
a
that,
rare, there is the rare switch. Like, I mean, my wife and I kind of live swapped than most people's standard perception of things. With a lot of things. But I mean, not all of them. I mean, it is like, I am the protector. I am, whatever. But like, with my record, I've had continuously since I've been out of prison since 2019, like, a very hard time finding employment.
Mhm.
And like, she's been more of the breadwinner in a lot of situations. But there is trade-offs that like a lot of men don't perceive. Like, I've been the stay-at-home dad for
Mhm.
every day of the fucking week.
Yeah.
Every week. Back to back to back to back to back. With the special needs child. It is a very, and it's given me the perspective to understand what women go through that like a lot of men, yeah, you can look at it and you can be like, oh, I understand. You
Yeah.
don't really fucking understand it until you've been through it, right? So I mean, it is one of those things where like, life would be, especially having a spouse or having a long-term significant other that you've got kids with, like, man, if we could all just like, be on the same page and understand how this shit works,
Yeah.
fuck, it would be a lot easier. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It would be a lot easier. It really
Yeah,
would.
I can understand your perspective too, and I do want to, you know, make it very clear that I don't think that a man's only role should be, you know, out and working and, you know, providing. When I say protector and provider, that goes on many different realms. And,
Oh,
you
I'll
know,
still kill you.
my
You know,
son's my son's dad, you know, a lot of people know this, like, you know, I pay child support because, you know, I have a bigger income. And a lot of people clown that and they'll clown him. But at the end of the day, he's an amazing dad. Like, literally, could not have asked for a better person to co parent my son with. And he took on my daughter too. Like, she loves him and calls him, you know, dad, and that's her choice. And so, you know, I really appreciate your perspective because I think protecting and providing, even though that's often just classified as like, you know, the person that goes to work and the person, it's a broader spectrum of what somebody can bring to the table. And I think that's really, you know, the core liberal beliefs that I will still hold is that a man is still a man if he's a stay at home, if he's, you know, maybe in the traditional like female role, because he's still bringing something, he's providing it, he's making a safe place. You know, your wife can go to work knowing that your son who has special needs is with someone that she can guarantee won't get frustrated with him and hurt him, whereas if he was in a daycare or with a, you know, special needs provider, that would be different, right? So
for sure.
these things all look different, but you guys are, you know, coming together to provide for each other and creating a dynamic that works for you. And I think
Right.
that that's really
And that's what
that's
matters,
really commendable. But there
right?
are a lot of women that would be like, that would come home at the end of the day and be like, well, you know, I'm working and you're just staying home all day, and like not have that sense of appreciation, which I don't feel is the case in your situation. But it just goes to show that like we all need to bring something. It doesn't matter what it is. You bring
Right.
something, and don't just expect it to be all on men. And just because you have a love muffin and some titties, that you're just exempt from any adult responsibility.
For
You
sure.
know?
Yeah, I mean it's a real thing. Having, you know, being able to, like I said, just because I can't even, you know, get hired at a fucking smoke shop or a liquor store, any place where somebody who's completely tattooed with a felony record, you know, extensive felony record wouldn't be able to get hired. Like, you know, I still love my kids. I still take care of my kids. I am still a protector of not just my kids, but my wife as well. And
Yeah.
like it's different than like the standard sense of what it's looked like. And I think that if people that were to look at that as the same, like, you know, it just because the roles are different, it doesn't mean that there's any difference in that household. It doesn't mean that anything is, you know, different. It doesn't mean I love my kids any less than I would if the roles were switched.
Yeah. Well, and you're still, I mean, you're still doing a podcast, you're still building something. So even
Right.
though those roles have been reversed, you still have that like urge inside of you where you're like, okay, I gotta like
Well,
it just
fuck, I can't
speaks.
sell heroin anymore. You know what I mean? So I got to do something. Like I got to figure it out. You know what I mean? So I'm here. We're kicking it. You know, we're an hour and 52 minutes into this bitch. We're hanging out. You know?
Yeah, like, you know, you have to build something in the way the world's going. You have to, like, you can't be a slave to the system.
No.
It supersedes, like, you know, um anything else. You have to get out there. I try to teach my kids to be ambitious, have no
Yeah.
fear. And I hope that they take away. I know my oldest is interested. He wants to become a therapist, and I love that. You know, he's not you know, my wife is from another marriage, but the guy sucks. And, you know, I'm glad, like, that's my kid. I don't refer to him as my stepson, that's my son. Like,
Yeah.
um, and he's a pain in my ass, but I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I love him to death, and he's in a position that is very unique. He has access to individuals and people that a lot of kids and people will never have access to, you know, and he's using that. He watches I learned this actually today, Trev. he watches this to know, like our show, to know how to help people. Like whether that's hearing the stories from the mob guys, hearing the stories from, you know, Jason. And I mean, my 5-year-old, straight up gangster he is. You already
Kids up
know.
thug.
He started kindergarten this year. When everybody was like announcing, like, oh, hey, you know, what do your parents do for work or whatever? This fool stood up, 5 years old, and said, my dad's in a Genovese crime family. Because I was like, what the fuck? You know, and then because you know, Anthony Arillotta has been he's my brother to the end, where we do a thing together, Money Mayhem and the Mafia, and he has the wine company Pazzo. So Will's like, buy Pazzo, I'll put 2 in the ad.
He's,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just, he's a gangster. He doesn't know what he's saying. He even told, some kid said they asked who are the people you look up to, and he said Uncle Anthony and Uncle Jason. And he explained it to him, and he said some kid was, I guess, made a joke, and he was like, at least my motherfuckers are real. Like, you know,
it's a fucking
he's a
valid
tough
point.
bastard. Trev will tell you, he's crazy.
That kid's something fucking special, bro. Like,
oh god, if we don't kick it in the ass, he'll be the boss of a family at some point.
That's what I'm saying.
You know.
Did you guys see the video I posted last night of my son?
The Superman one? Oh my god, I was like, what the hell's going on right now? I laughed for at least 45 minutes at least.
Yeah, that's my son isn't quite proud of me yet. He's waiting for Superman to help his penis grow bigger. So we're not there yet. I can't wait though.
Better than pharmaceuticals.
Oh my god.
I love kids say the craziest shit, bro.
Oh my god.
And it catches you off guard. That's the best part.
I couldn't believe it. Like, he's 3. He's gonna be 4. I'm like, what are you? Oh my god! Like, it's starting already. What?
I mean, on the plus side, you know, we have to fight Will, my youngest Will, on going on Roblox. But when he goes on there, he makes it clear, like, even though he has no access to the mic, he'll go on, like, you know, my wife's account or something, and he'll announce, my Uncle Jason has no use for you.
Oh my god.
He'll announce, he's just like, my Uncle Jason's the Alaskan Avenger. Like, you know, like, so it puts you watch the chat just empty out.
Yeah, I really want to turn everything I have over to my daughter, but something tells me that it might be my son who takes over, because, you know, Hosanna, she's like twice the character that I am, and she's, you know, so strong and so opinionated. And even at 8 years old, sometimes she like challenges me, and she'll be like, well, Mom, how come there's more boy superheroes than girl superheroes? Like, that's not fair. So she has this, like, I don't know, she just has this like sense of injustice in the world. And I hope that she takes that and does what I do, but maybe more on like an equal stance, a fresher stance. Like, I don't know, but she really wants to be a police officer. So I don't know if I think she's proud of me. I think she likes showing off my YouTube play button more than me. I don't know if she really understands like what I do, but I definitely want to retire my legacy to my kids, and, you know, hopefully go, you know, work in social services and work with at-risk youth, and just do the things that I always wanted to do, that really, like, that's where my heart's at. Like, my heart is with men's rights for sure, but my like soul will be completed if I can do something that works with at-risk kids. So I really hope that she takes over, but I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like she might go the other way. I don't know. She's just so opinionated. I have no idea at this point. I hope she uses it for good, but we just got to see. She's 8. She's young right now, but hopefully I'll be able to retire in like 6 years or so and still have my youth.
Well, I mean, we've been going pretty hard. It's about 2 hours in. I have to ask before we go, do you do a gaming channel?
Oh my God, I did. Yeah. I game sometimes. I like to, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out what my gaming channel is. I like to pretend to be an old lady. That's my favorite. I just put on this old lady voice. I do. I have one. It's like Roma Army gaming. I don't remember what it's called. I have no idea.
On YouTube or
yeah, on YouTube. I just can't remember what it is. But if you look up Roma Army in gaming, what is this? Roma Army versus Andrew Wilson. Oh, fuck off. I hate searching myself up.
Wait, aren't you going to be on whatever tomorrow?
No.
Oh, I thought you were. I thought there was like you and Andrew Wilson were gonna like box it out or something.
yeah.
Oh, and is tomorrow the 10th? Is that the day? So let me tell you what happened. So I caught Andrew Wilson's wife, and this is only in last time I'm going to talk about it. So you guys get the exclusive. I caught that there's some guy. I can't even remember his name. Oh, the real Mighty Mouse on Instagram. And out of nowhere, he just comes up and he starts making all these videos tagging me, being like, men don't need a woman to speak for them. Her tattoos make her seem unapproachable. He thinks I'm a single mom. He just goes off on me, right? And so I caught in his comments Rachel Wilson, Andrew Wilson's wife, being like, anybody who thinks Roma supports men is a laughable, pathetic simp. So I made a video and I was like, somebody tell Andrew Wilson that his dog got loose, right? Now, naturally, I wouldn't make a habit of calling somebody else's wife a dog. But this is quite on par for Andrew Wilson and Rachel Wilson, right? Like really just the whole, like the man dominates, and which doesn't make any sense because he partners with his wife a lot. So I'm like, obviously you don't believe this. But anyways, 10 minutes later, Brian from the Whatever podcast is texting me and he's like, Andrew Wilson wants to debate you. And I'm like, okay, about what? So he wants to debate me on whether or not I'm a real men's rights advocate because apparently I'm too feminist, which is fucking wild, and something to do with trans people. And I'm like, I don't understand what this has to do with me. So probably. So I should have given it some time. I should have looked at my schedule, but I said November 10th, right? Well, 3 days pass. It was over a month in advance. I'm like really studying Andrew. I'm like really putting in the work, formulating my arguments. Like you have to come prepared with Andrew Wilson because he does a lot of the, petty insults and he'll trip you up in definitions. And so I'm like, if I'm not careful, this guy could make me look like an idiot. So I'm doing my research and stuff. And I had this podcast. I have another, I'm going to Denver. I have another podcast tomorrow with the To Be Better podcast. And so I'm like, I need to move it to the 13th. So I texted Brian and I'm like, hey, can't do the 10th. I have to do the 13th. Now I'm just trying to schedule it 2 days later. Andrew Wilson takes to Twitter and is like, Roma Army canceled. And to me, I'm like, holy fuck, just wait a minute, because we're a month in advance. I'm not canceling. I'm just simply asking if we can move it to 2 days later. And so he basically just lies. And as he makes this Twitter post, Brian and I are in the background still trying to figure out a date that works. So I'm like, fuck this guy. Anyways, then he goes on this Twitter rampage and he's like, I never would have asked to debate her if I knew she was mentally retarded, and just, oh my God, fuck that guy, fuck Andrew Wilson, fuck the Whatever podcast too, because I was on the Whatever podcast twice, and the first time I was so into hey, I got to get good clips, I got to call these bitches out. But then I watched my first podcast appearance and I didn't really like it. I felt like I was a little bit harsh. I didn't give people enough room to talk. So I'm like, the second time I go back, I'm going to make it better. So I sit back and I listen. And part of sitting back and listening made me realize how fucking retarded the podcast is. They were talking for an hour and a half about whether or not a woman should bow down to her man. It was the dumbest shit I ever heard. So by the time I left the second podcast appearance, I was like, fuck this podcast. I'm done with it. And then this whole shit with Andrew Wilson happened, and his little 19-year-old girlfriend, the skinny blonde girl that's used as like a prop in the background of his podcast, is live on his channel and starts talking about how I gave her heroin vibes. I'm like, bitch, I give off so many vibes, but heroin is not one of them. So I blocked Brian. I'm pretty sure that he doxed my phone number. However, I can't validate that. So I just want to make it clear that this is not an accusation. I can't verify it for sure. But ever since that happened, I've had 3 phone numbers now, random numbers that have texted me asking if I was Rachel Wilson. So, like, obviously, my number had gotten leaked to that community somehow. People are like confusing, thinking that I'm Rachel Wilson, and that's the only common denominator. So, fuck those guys. Fuck Andrew Wilson. He's a fucking idiot, and so are their community. Because anybody that looks at me and thinks I'm a feminist is just retarded, pardon my
Or just not
language.
listening, period.
But on a brighter note, you guys have gone up a shit ton of followers. You guys are
I
at
know.
911 subscribers now. So all of my
Cooking, bro.
fans, ones that I didn't piss off by that last rant,
It's
please
all right.
go follow.
I live to piss
I
people off.
do got one question for you. I've
Yeah.
seen it come up in the chat as well, but I've since I've been planning my couple pre-planned questions, this has been one. So I
Sure.
saw you've been going through the journey of tattoo removal.
I was
Yeah.
about to
fucking
ask, bro.
covered.
Thank you for bringing this up.
I'm covered. I got a lot of shit I'm trying to remove. Is it that bad?
Okay, well,
I'm trying to remove my face, trying to remove like some sensitive parts, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
it depends. Tattoo removal, it hurts more than the tattoo. Now I'm getting 5 tattoos removed. This one, this weird one on my arm, this, and both sides of my neck. Now, the bolder, blacker, thicker the ink, the more it's going to hurt. So if you just have, if you've got like, the old tattoos like this one or something, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt as bad as my first session with this. I would definitely recommend it. I think I use the clinic Removery. They're the world's leading laser removal company. The reason why they're so good is because they prioritize like your health over results. So and I'm not sponsored. I paid my full fee. I didn't tell them who I was, nothing. This is not a sponsorship. This is purely personal recommendation. They will space out your treatment. I paid $5,000, which would have covered like 8 sessions, but they're like removing any tattoo that I want to the amount that I want. Like it could go to 14 sessions and I won't have to pay any more. And that's just what they do. They didn't do that for me. They didn't know who I was or anything. And you have no blistering, no scarring. With these other clinics, you will, because they use a higher power laser to try to get the results faster, but you scar and you blister and it's painful. So definitely go with Removery. If you don't have big, thick, bold, tribal ink on you, it won't hurt as bad. Like I just went for my second session. It was way more tolerable than the first one. So
Did the numbing
definitely
cream
do
help?
it.
Yeah, I saw your second video from the most recent one, and
I don't think so. I don't think the numbing cream helped. No.
so I've never been tattooed with numbing cream,
Me
but
neither.
like, I mean,
I don't think any
know.
of us have.
Yeah,
No.
I've got some hot spots tattooed on me, and like one of the things, like my whole neck's wrapped around, like I'm just completely covered everywhere, but like the face is the one, like some of the ones that I want to do, and like they're not that thick. Most of them are prism tattoos. I think that some soot will dissolve a little bit better than some super thick black shit. You know what I mean?
The worst tattoo feeling, bro. The chest was definitely the worst.
The chest sucks,
bro. Like it is a nightmare. Like and my tattoo artist Wes, he was a guest on the show. He was with Death Threat, hardcore band out of Connecticut. This bastard put on a Chris Rock comedy special while he's tattooing my chest. So I'm trying not to laugh.
Fuck that.
And like, the meaty parts are fine, but when you hit
Right.
it's
The
straight
sternum's a
breastbone,
bitch, bro.
and I'm trying not to laugh. And like, I hear my wife, bro, and this other guy, Mickey, she's getting a tattoo. They're all laughing over there. It's all fun and games. Like, I'm dying over here. Everybody else got to laugh except for me. But Wes he's a great guy. But the back was no prize either.
The toes, bro. For me, my toes fucking suck.
Jay said the foot was
fingers,
suck, bro.
The foot, the toes, the fingers. That shit sucks.
Yeah,
bro.
the fingers definitely suck because it like rattles your whole. It's like your whole
straight to the bone.
Skeleton rattles.
Yeah.
For me, it was my anarchy tattoo in my sternum or my solar plex. I don't know, whatever the fuck this is.
Sternum, both of them suck.
Oh, it hurts so bad. But I gave birth to both of my children at home with a midwife, no medication, no laughing gas, not even a Tylenol. So I have a very good pain tolerance. I'm tattooed in like all of the most painful places. I didn't find the neck or the chest that painful, but the laser removal, oh my God, it hurts so bad. The first session on my neck, I think it was as painful as childbirth, if not maybe just a little bit more. But I don't think you'll deal with that pain because, again, I have a big, bold, thick black ink. And it's starting. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it's really it's starting to come out. I'm so excited.
Coming out for sure.
And black. They packed it.
Yeah,
like,
they
you
packed
can see
that
it.
shit
Like,
for sure.
that's gonna I was like, oh my God. So since we're on the topic of tattoos, because every guest that I've had on the show, with the exclusion of Dennis Rader, or I've talked to, I get a tattoo for every guest I've had on the show. So you have to help me pick out what you're getting, what I get tattooed on. I'm starting it soon. I already have the collection. So
my God.
So you have to help me pick out what your tattoo is gonna be.
Okay. I can do that. I'll pick something like
whatever it is, and I'll get it tattooed.
Okay, that's sick. That's really cool.
So
actually,
I'm collecting my, especially my first year of guests. I'm collecting them right here. So whatever it is that you feel represents you the best, I'm gonna get it tattooed on me, and I'll make a video and send it to you.
Okay, yeah, I got to think real good about that one. Yeah, I'm just in the process of debating. It's going to take about 12 sessions, maybe 14, to get this off completely. My neck, the sides of my neck, this one's coming off pretty good.
Came out fast.
This one's coming out fast. Yeah,
look like it came out fast.
But I think a part of me doesn't want, I just want to leave my neck bare. But then also, that's how people have recognized me as this tattoo. So I think I'm going to replace it with a really beautiful, geometric pattern. You know how you see those girls and they have, and guys, and they have that really beautiful pattern. But I need a strong focal point so that people could look at me and be like, yes, it's that bitch. So maybe you guys can help me with that.
Cover-up artist.
Are you gonna run are you gonna do from jawline all the way down, or are you gonna keep it kind of just the neck? Because under the chin, man, that shit fucking sucks.
Yeah, I've got this line here. This line was actually, I don't know if you can see, my neck is still swollen from the, I don't typically have 3 chins, but I do today.
How long ago did you just get the next session done?
The day before yesterday.
Oh shit! Okay. Yeah. I saw the reel and I was like, "Oh, that was recent," but I didn't realize how recent
same
it was.
day. Yeah, I think I would go under the neck. I'm just not quite sure. I just have to be super careful because I'll be damned if I spend all this money to get this removed just to get something else I have to remove. I think I'm going to put a geometric pattern here, and then I think I'm going to put an angel on my chest with the wings that go out. I've always thought that was really beautiful, but yeah, we'll just have to see. I've got a long time to go. I'm just not looking forward to the in between and having to make videos with this choppy ass tattoo that's missing sections here and here, and I'm gonna be turtlenecking it for a while probably. But yeah, maybe I'll let my audience pick the tattoo as long as it's good. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you want that you feel represents you, Me and Wes have Burning Hearts tattoo in Hamden. We'll get it done. I'm overdue for ink anyways. Completely overdue. And
I'll
Trev,
pick
when you
something
get here in
good.
Connecticut, we got to get a Governor Trev somewhere in here.
We're getting it somewhere. I'm making you put it right in the armpit, bro.
The hell you will, bro. You're right. Don't do that. Don't put that on me.
I'm doing it, bro. That's gonna be a thing.
What's that?
Yeah.
Then you got to match. You got to get my fucking ugly ass like on
Run
there.
it, bro. I ain't
Dude,
scared.
right, we'll handle it.
Yeah, a lot of my tattoos I had before I even turned 18. Like both sides of my neck was already done. My hands were done. My chest was done. So some of them, like, you know, like this tattoo, like with the skull with the crown, I earned that tattoo. So that tattoo's not going anywhere. My fingers aren't going anywhere, but some of these other ones, I'm like, yeah, let's go take it off. I've got this like red crybaby here
You
that
got
I
a lot of
tattooed
open
with
space.
Japanese ink, and like used a shader needle and did it when I was high on mushrooms when I was like 19.
Yeah,
I was a huge Little Peep fan, in case you couldn't tell from the portrait.
You got a lot of open space. You'll be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
sure
covered like Kat
yeah.
Von D, but I'm gonna keep, at least I have the sense to keep everything off of my face.
Fuck, man.
Oh my God. I actually do have a face
I kind
tattoo.
of want face tats though.
I drugged my wife into it, and she's beautiful though, so I love her. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, I've got 3 dots
Jill,
on my
November,
eyebrow here, but it's in red, so nobody can see it. So technically, I have a face
kind of
tattoo.
split though. Yeah, that's it's undercover face tattoos. Like it works. I've seen people get some sick ass shit in white, like on their face, to where like unless you hit a certain light, you can't see it. That shit looks alright. For sure.
I've always liked the eyebrow tattoos. I just can't. I can't do it to my face.
One on each side.
Yeah, I think they look dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, people that are like fully covered and stuff, when they have that like little, yeah, I think it's really dope.
Have
it's
you
like
seen
that,
the
like
negative
Kat Von D
tattoo?
look.
Well, like it's basically like they'll black out their entire arm, but they'll have the same piece done over, but in like white ink. It's like a black.
Oh, the blackout, yeah, with white ink over it. That shit's cut.
Yeah.
They I think they call it like a negative. So
Yeah.
so it will just be white outlined of the original design on a blackout arm,
like
or whatever.
Like
it's crazy if you get the right artist.
Like if this was black, like the clover in the center.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Except the clover would be white.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be like if my neck was all black, but this part was white.
Right.
Yeah. When you get the right artist that can do it, bro, it's crazy.
It's crazy. It comes out good for sure.
Yeah, I have a really talented artist. His name is IB. Hold on, let me just get the name. He's here in Calgary, Alberta. He's super fucking talented, like just insane. I can't pull him up right now, but in my laser removal videos that I've done on Instagram, I've tagged him. So I'm super excited to just, it's like a rebirth, you know, taking off the old and putting on something that I can be proud of, because I hate this tattoo. I mean, I hated it the moment I got it. Oh my God, I fucking hate it so much.
Where you're like, fuck, really? Am I stuck with this? Like,
it was awful. Well, you know, I never shared the story about, like, you know, what it was or how I got it until I started getting my laser removal. So I finally talked about it, but basically I wanted something completely different, like a kind of like a, you know, like a gothic, like black, like spread on my neck. I don't know how to explain it. And the girl that I went to, I think she fucked up. She fucked up something like halfway through the session and didn't tell me and just proceeded to go. Yeah, and this is what I ended up with.
To a different plan, huh?
Oh my God. And the red, like these like red scribbles on it. It's the ugliest tattoo known to man. When people are like, I love your tattoo, man. I'm like, why are you lying? Why?
You know it's ugly. Dark. Like,
that's
you're getting it removed. I'm not trying to call you like the artist could have done like, you know, some background shading a little bit, you know what I mean? Like not something. Just like fucking black.
Well, the craziest part is that this is actually fixed, and I pinned the video to my Instagram. So anybody watching, my Instagram is Roma Army official. where I share the story and I actually showed pictures for the first time on what it looked like before. And believe it or not, this is actually fixed. The reason I hate it, and I can laugh about it now because it's getting removed, but I think it actually looks like a dick. Because if you like, here's the tip, and then like here's the balls, right?
Oh my God.
I can see it. Oh man.
Nobody
damn,
sees it until
I'll
I
never
point
be
it
able to
out.
see it any other way.
It's so
Oh.
bad. It's literally so bad. But I can't wait.
All right, so that's where we're establishing. We're headed. We're gonna take us out 2.5 hours. Roma's Army, our new sister in arms. I'm so glad that we finally did this. I've been excited. You were actually one of the first people I emailed too.
Really?
I was. But
damn,
you know what?
I'm sorry I missed your email.
It's all right because fate. It's just how the shit goes.
Yeah.
This was better anyways. I got better at it because if I did, you were my first, it would have been a train wreck.
So are you in Colorado as well, or where are you?
No, I'm in Connecticut.
Ah, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in Colorado, so we should have a beer.
Hell yeah. And if you want, I'll get you a case of pot. Oh, yeah. Sorry. The mic's a little bit. Oh, yeah. My camera's here. I got two different screens. I'm getting used to it. Pozzo Blend, Anthony Arillotta, the boss of Connecticut. Me and him are cooking it on Money Mayhem and the Mafia. Me and Trev will be sitting down with our new friend, Louis Casman, who is the trusted advisor. He's a Tom Higgins to John Gotti. That's a true story. And you're going to hear it all. He's got letters. Even sent us a picture of the check that paid for John Gotti's funeral.
God damn. Wow.
So we're cooking over here. I'm so honored. Amy, be sure, and Michelle, be sure to share our big brother, the Alaskan Avengers, everything. Send it all. The Patreon. We don't have to share the restitution no more because we smoked that shit.
Yeah, we smoked that shit. And thank you to the Wood Chipper Tribe for coming, showing out.
Hell yeah.
You guys fucking
I can't see the chat, so if I missed you, I know I caught one super chat in the beginning. Johnny Chimpo, I love you, buddy. I know he's a one light motherfucker to the end. Divine Sparks, I saw you here. There's a lot of the one light in there.
We love you guys.
And
can you send me a bottle of that? Or if the gentleman that makes it, if he's watching, can I please have a bottle of that? Because, I'm a low key, I'm not an alcoholic, but I do love my liquor. And I would love to promote it like completely for free. I'm not looking for anything in return. I think it would be a really fun YouTube live to like get drunk off of that shit during the live and review it. It'd be funny.
I'm gonna hit you with some story here. Pozzo is made by the boss of the Genovese crime family that ran Connecticut and Western Mass.
Yeah, I'm actually quite familiar with I'm quite familiar.
With him?
Well, with the crime family.
Oh, well,
I'm not affiliated. I'm not associated. I just purely know from some like true crime stuff and, some of the, FBI videos and stuff like that. So I'm not affiliated, not anything like that, not claiming I am, but I do think that there's some badass motherfuckers. I would love to have some of that shit.
Anthony Arillotta is one of he was a real deal. He did cooperate and people are going to learn the truth of that, as we go forward with Money Mayhem and the Mafia. You're going to find Ant over there live a couple times a week. We're going to kick some serious ass. You're going to learn the truth of what Connecticut and Western Mass really brought. None of it. We're tired of New York. We're tired of Boston. We're going to learn the truth. We have great shit in the works. Me and Trev got some real hitters. Still later this month, controversial interview, Gypsy Crusader. He's going to be on here. Paul Miller.
The gypsy? What did he kill gypsies? What do you mean?
No. Ant didn't kill any gypsies. Gypsy Crusader, Paul Miller. He, you've come across him. He's a crazy clown. He dressed up the Joker. But Paul's got an interesting story, and because of this, I will sit down. Me and Trev will sit down with anybody from Antifa, anybody from a left-leaning extremist group. We'll do a pre-recorded. We'll cover your identity if that makes you feel safe. We'll take care of it.
We got to balance shit out though.
You know,
for sure. Yeah,
I know Masada's
Paul.
listening. You know, I'm sure you'll tap me in Trev's call after this.
Again,
and I hope
thanks,
you enjoy our
Masad,
conversation.
every time.
But
Shout
Roma, I'm
out.
serious. You know, you saved my life at one point. You've saved so many other lives.
Thank you.
I'm
It's
so
an
happy
honor.
to have finally sat with you. I don't, you know, I don't know what else to say.
It's a huge
Well,
thing.
I'm starting a podcast in Austin, Texas. I'm not becoming a citizen or anything, just partnering up with a buddy to share a podcast space. We've got it. I'm going down there to check it out for the first time in December. So I would love if you two could come down and be my first guests. That would be crazy.
We are down for
Bet.
sure.
Okay.
Done.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, well, my bladder is going to explode. I have to pee so bad, so I have to check out of here. But it was an absolute pleasure to be here. And thank you to Jason for connecting us. Thank you to all the communities that have come together. You guys are awesome. And I'm super proud to, be a part of what you guys have going on.
Thank you so
And
much.
buy Vacitoni cologne. Did I
Oh
say that
yeah.
right?
Oh, definitely. Right, man. This shit is a fucking panty dropper. It's so good. It's seriously so good. I would never promote or sell anything I don't like. I've been approached by many cologne and fragrance companies over the years, and they've just all smelled like shit. So I didn't take any, but I really believe in this brand, and I'm hoping to partner with them if I can do well enough in revenue. So yeah, definitely check it out and make sure you guys follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, all of Roma's links are shared below. This has been a great conversation. Fuck you, Jeffrey Marsh.
Fuck you, Masad.
I'll make sure we keep that in there. Screw you, Merlino. And is there? While my wife's sitting here staring at me, is there anything else I need to add?
That she's a part of our family, and
Yeah, hell yeah, salute.
honor.
Money Maven and Mafia, Louis Casman coming up next. We got him soon. Me, Trev, Sergeant Cody Bowden coming back for the tinfoil investment. We'll talk about that Charlie Kirk business and the weird stuff with Erica.
Yeah, not to drag it on any longer, but I'm glad you said that. Okay, so as a Canadian, we think that her behavior is super sus. Is that just a
Anytime you want
Canadian
to put
thing, or are
on
you
a
guys feeling
tinfoil
it
hat,
too?
no. Oh no, it's a real thing. Anytime you want to put on a tinfoil hat and come join us and talk about this, you are more than welcome.
Yeah, because something there's not right, bro. It's not right. And I haven't wanted to say anything because, I'm Canadian. I'm very aware of your guys' politics and social politics, but I thought maybe I was just missing something. But something sus.
Shit's getting
It's
weird.
sus.
Candace Owens, she knows some shit, bro.
Yeah.
And we have to ride for Candace Owens because she is pissing off the powers that be. So
I never used to like her. I think when I was more back in like my super Canadian liberal days, I didn't like her. I thought that she was like super anti-black and stuff like that. But as I've kind of matured and watched more of her content, I'm like, damn, this chick might know what she's talking about. Damn.
Anti-black as a African American.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're
Candace
like
Owens,
I said.
bro.
Bring your tinfoil. Come join us. We'll fucking make this a thing.
Okay.
Candace, I'm pleading with you. Come on with me and Trev. We ride for you.
Yep.
Sit down with us. You know what's crazy? I'll just throw this out. Trev, you already know. The morning that Charlie got murdered, I emailed Charlie Kirk.
Yep.
No way.
His team. Yeah, straight up. Like
wow.
I told Trev, I was like, yo, like I talked to somebody over at Turning Point. They said, hey, yo, we saw the email. Could you send a fresher? I called Trev all excited. I was like, bro, we might be getting Charlie on this thing at some point. And Trev called me like maybe 45 minutes later. He's like, yo, dog, like, look, this is what's going on. So I'm either cursed. Well, that's the second person here. To be honest, Sabu was supposed to be on here at one point, and he died too. So,
well, shit. I'm glad I didn't fall into that
died
curse
before they came on with us. So you're safe.
I'm like, shit.
You're all good. You're all good.
Yeah, we're the final destination of podcasts. But no, seriously, I love you all. everybody from the Boneyard crew that showed up, the Wood Chipper Tribe, Roma's Army, the One Light family. We love you all. Everybody from the Pozzo Club over at Money Man and the Mafia. We're taking this whole fucking world over. So we either stand and deliver, ride for something, or die for nothing. That's how we do it. Fuck you, Jeffrey Marsh.
Run
Take us
it.
out.
Fuck Mossad.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.